Today's podcast is titled Rescued from Debt, and our guest will be talking to us about his journey with Christians Against Poverty, CAP. This is a debt story of faith and hope.
Hello and a heartfelt welcome. This episode is here to shine a light on the real-life experiences of those who have faced the weight of unmanageable debt and found hope. Today, we're joined by Dave, who's bravely opening up about the challenges he faced and the life-changing support he received from Christians Against Poverty, or CAP. Dave told us that it started with shame, but it ended in freedom. Immediately I made that decision to call CAP. So, to be honest, it is one call, one charity, and everything changed. No more sleepless nights. Through honest conversation, Dave will share how CAP helped him regain control, build a brighter future, and ultimately become debt-free. If you or someone you care about is struggling with managing debts, know that you're not alone, and this story may be just the encouragement you need. Sit back and listen. Remember, as you listen and learn from this podcast, you can save many as well that are close to you and are struggling with debt repayments. Just share this video with them. Anyone that find themselves in debt should not be embarrassed by it but should seek help from CAP. Join me to welcome Dave. Hi Dave, welcome to today's show.
Thank you very much for inviting me to your podcast. It is my pleasure to be with you.
How did you hear about Christians Against Poverty? I mean, how did you come across CAP services?
I first came across Christians Against Poverty, CAP, in 2014. Back then, I hadn't used their services myself, but even from what little I knew, I felt confident enough to point others toward CAP when they were struggling with debt. At the time, it never occurred to me to check in and see how they got on. Fast forward to today, I've experienced CAP's support personally. And hand on heart, I can say they're a lifesaver. CAP doesn't just help with debt, they lift people out of poverty and give them hope.
Dave, you mentioned you were in debt. Can you tell me what kind of debts you had, and how much did it add up to in the end?
Let me give you and your audience a bit of context. Between 2013 and 2018, I had around 8 credit cards, collectively holding over £14,500 in balances. Add to that another £500 to £600 in overdrafts and a previous loan with a high street bank. Back then, I managed my cards responsibly, paying them off in full each month. But by 2016, my circumstances started shifting. Expenses grew steadily, and my income didn't keep pace. By 2018, the cost of living had outstripped my earnings, and keeping up with household bills became a challenge. So now and again, in order to stay afloat, I began using credit cards for everyday essentials like for groceries, car repairs, etc., and on things I'd never thought of using the credit card for before. Month after month, the debt built up, quietly but relentlessly.
How did the debt affect your life and your families?
By July 2019, I'd racked up £15,000 in debt across credit cards and overdrafts. I could barely manage the minimum repayments, and with interest rates climbing every month, it felt like I was slipping further behind no matter what I did. I was supporting a household of 6, privately renting, with 3 kids in school and a 4th who was just 22 months old. Our only income came from my monthly salary and child tax credits. Groceries, car repairs, marts, etc. Everyday survival started eating into whatever little I could repay. We were struggling. Every day felt heavier than the last, and the anxiety kept building. I couldn't talk to anyone about it. Not friends, not family, not even co-workers. I bottled it all up and suffered in silence. It was unhealthy. It was isolating. And I knew I needed to do something. I just didn't know what.
Can you remember the moment you decided to reach out to CAP, and at what point did seeking help become the turning point in your journey?
One Sunday in July 2019, I was at my local Catholic church. After Mass, I was walking out, weighed down by worry, when something green caught my eye, a leaflet tucked inside a nearly empty holder. It read, "Weighed down by debt." Just above, it was a free helpline number. Only 2 leaflets were left, unlike the other ones overflowing nearby. Something told me to pick it up. I looked closer. It was Christians Against Poverty offering free debt counseling. And on the back of the leaflet was a familiar face, Martin Lewis, the money-saving expert. I took it home, went straight to my bedroom, and read every word. 2 contact numbers were listed. In that moment, a spark of hope lit up. I knew I was going to call them Monday morning. And I did. That Monday, I dialed the number with trembling hands. The voice on the other end was kind and very calm, and that gave me hope. They looked up my area and booked a home visit appointment for the following week. I hadn't even spoken to anyone in person yet, but I already felt lighter. For the first time, I could imagine a life free from debt.
I notice you've brought a green leaflet with you today. Is that the one from Christians Against Poverty? The same one you picked up after Mass back in July 2019?
Yes, this is the exact leaflet I picked up from my local Catholic church back in July 2019. I've kept it ever since, tucked safely in an A4 wallet, protected inside my folder at home. It still looks brand new. And I guess that makes sense, because to me, it symbolizes a fresh start. We're now in July 2025. 6 years have passed, and I still carry it with me, not just physically, but emotionally. If it helps others the way it helped me, I'd be happy for you to share it with your audience.
Yes, please. I'm happy to have it and share it with the audience.
Sure, there you go, have it.
Dave, you mentioned reaching out to CAP for the first time on a Monday. Can you share what prompted you to make that call, and what was happening in your life at that moment?
Yes, that's right. I remember the Sunday before I was feeling quite anxious, and it felt like a really long wait. So, on Monday morning, around 9 a.m., I checked the time and told myself to give it a few more minutes. I mentally prepared for the kinds of questions I might be asked and made sure I had key documents, like my bank statements, ready. At around 9:30 a.m., I made the call to CAP, and I got through to speak with someone.
Here's a screenshot of the CAP leaflet from 2019. Back then, the website was capdebthelp.org. I've checked it recently, and it still redirects to CAP's current site, where you'll find everything you need to begin your journey to becoming debt-free, whether that's for yourself, a loved one, or someone you're supporting. We're taking a short break now, and while we're away, I'll be sharing the leaflet with you all. Thanks so much, Dave, for your time and insights. I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Thanks so much for watching and listening to our very first podcast. Be sure to check out podcast 2, where Dave shares what happened during the home visit from CAP's debt coaches. He walks us through the debt management plan, how CAP took over communication with his creditors, and the additional support he received throughout. Dave also talks about repaying £15,000 of debt in just 29 months, faster than the 39 months expected, and building up more than £2,100 in savings, all through CAP's monthly payment system. Trust me, you'll want to hear Dave's story straight from him. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to tune in to the next podcast for the final interview with Dave. Subscribe to stay informed and be the first to get a notification of our upcoming tutorials, tips, and educational insights. Remember, call CAP today on 0800 328 0006 or 0127 476 0720.